in terms of Ra, there are certain rules and regulations in terms of Ra. Now, Ra is either heavy and Tafkheem, or it's light, tarqiq. And the biggest clue into recognizing whether the Ra that you're reading in the Quran is going to be thick or thin is the vowel on the Ra in itself. All right. In many cases in the Holy Quran, the Ra would come with a Fatha and the Ra would come with a Dammah. That automatically is going to be thick because of the nature of the vowel on the letter. And then if the Ra has a Kasra underneath it, then automatically that's going to be light. So that's the basic rules of understanding how to differentiate the Ra. So I'll give you an example of the Fatha and the Dammah. So the Fatha, one word is Rasul, Rasul. So Ra is thick over here, yeah? And then with Dammah, we have Ruh, yeah? Ruh. This is again thick. That's because of the Fatha and the Dammah. But when the Ra has a Sakoon on top, and the letter before has a Fatha or a Dammah, it will also be thick in this case. So I'll give you one example. We know this example. Maryam. Yeah, Maryam. So because the Ra has a Sakoon on top, the letter before, we have to look at the letter before. The letter before has a Fatha, that's why it will be thick over here. Maryam. The next word is Qur'an. Qur'an. Yeah, the Qaf that comes before the Ra with the Sakoon has a Dammah. So that has determined whether this Ra will be thick or thin. So in this case, it will be thick. So one special example is when it has a Sakoon and is preceded by a letter with Kasra, but the letter after Ra is a heavy letter, the thick letters. So one example is Mirsada. So this word, the Sad, is a thick letter. It comes after the Ra, even though before the Ra there is a letter that has a Kasra underneath it, we still have to pronounce this thick. So these are the specific rules with Ra.
So that's the only exception when it comes to having a kasra before Ra.
Exactly.
That is followed by a...
In general, if a letter that bears the Kasra vowel comes before the Ra, it will be thin, it will be tarqiq. But if after that letter Ra there is a thick letter, like we discussed over here, then we will have to thicken the Ra over here.